From the Georgia Dome in downtown Atlanta, we've got a burner for you. It's the East Regional Final as Georgetown and UMass play for a trip to the Final Four. And this is how they got there. UMass beating Arkansas and Georgetown stopping Texas Tech. Hello, everybody. Glad you can be with us here in Atlanta. I'm Gus Johnson, along with my partner, Quinn Buckner. Georgetown, UMass. Quinn, this is one everybody wants to see.
I mean, I'm excited like you. When two teams you're talking about here, with Georgetown, the way they come after you, the way they press you, this is going to be an exciting game.
When you look at Georgetown, they're led by Allen Iverson, and he not only is their leader in scoring, he also is their leader in their pressure defense.
The All-American does everything. What you like about him is his ability to make plays, particularly on the defensive end of the court. He's their point guard, but he's going to be very active for them. They'll go into their 1-3-1 full court press. Allen Iverson brings a lot of his skills, some of them being football related. If you're watching, just keep an eye on him. He moves up to cover the ball if he has to get there, and if the ball goes back, he goes to the middle. If it gets over his head, it is Allen Iverson's responsibility to get there and make a play, and make a play he does on a diagonal. He gets some steals. That's what they got to have if they want to make some plays on the defensive end.
When you look at UMass, Marcus Camby, obviously their leader, and they're going to have to make good decisions when it comes to this Georgetown pressure defense.
Yeah, absolutely. But when you got the player of the year in Marcus Camby, he presents some problems for Georgetown. When he gets down on the block, he's capable of doing a lot of things. His absolute strength is that he is so rangy and so long, but just get the ball inside to him. He'll be there. You won't have much problem finding him. He'll be in the center. Everybody will start paying attention to where Marcus Camby is. A poor double team, you got a problem because they got two three-point shooters on the outside. The concern on the outside, you see what he can do. Rangy, takes the ball to the basket. He's the player of the year for good reason. He gets you offensively as well as defensively.
Time now to take a look at your starting lineups for Georgetown. Jerome Williams, Al Harrington, who had 23 points the other night, Allen Iverson and Victor Page. And for UMass, Dante Bright, Dana Dingle, the All-American, Marcus Camby, and Carmelo Travieso and Edgar Padilla in the backcourt. And the officials for this ball game, John Claggerty, the lead, Bob Garibaldi, and Charlie Range. And for the University of Massachusetts, their road to the regional final. In the first round over Central Florida, then a tough win against Stanford, and then finally beating Arkansas 79-63 right here in Atlanta. And for Georgetown, their first game, they clobbered Mississippi Valley. Then they went on to beat New Mexico, and they ended Texas Tech's 23-game winning streak, which at that time was the longest in the nation. Georgetown will be in the blue uniforms, UMass in white. Buckle up, folks. I have the feeling that this is gonna be a good one.
Yeah, I've been waiting for this. I've been dying for this game since Thursday, since we found out who was going to be in this particular game. I expected to come out. I don't know if physical is the term. Both teams are aggressive. So if you're aggressive, there's not a lot of room to move in there. And this is the first time these schools have met. But so officials are going to be really important. John Claggerty has a good crew, and they'll be keeping an eye to see how aggressive things get to be.
Opening tip won by the Hoyas, however. A steal. That's Padilla. Set an all-time record with 100 steals this season for UMass. Also, the Atlantic 10 record had 5 against Arkansas.
Well, Edgar Padilla, along with Carmelo Travieso, arguably one of the best guard combinations in basketball.
And we get our first bucket of the ball game. That's Dante Bright. He's a senior out of Baltimore, Maryland.
That's a dead ball foul on Dana Dingle, trying to hold Allen Iverson.
John Calipari in his 8th year, the Atlantic 10 Coach of the Year, and yesterday during the press conference, he really expressed how much admiration he has for John Thompson.
Well, John Thompson has done virtually the same thing that John Calipari is trying to do. Built a program that didn't have much respect. Now John Thompson's program is considered one of the tops in the country. That's what they want to do at UMass.
And Iverson almost turns the ball over. Iverson with 32 points against Texas Tech. Boubacar Al inside. and he got it to go.
You know, I expect to see that early. Allen Iverson is still just a sophomore, and sometimes he gets ahead of himself, and he lost that ball, and unfortunately for Georgetown, Al picked it up and made the basket.
Dante Bright, jump stop down low. Scramble for the ball, but Dana Dingle steps on the line. John Thompson won the national championship in 1984 with Patrick Ewing, trying to go back to the Final Four for the 4th time in his career.
They went back in '85 and lost to Villanova in a game that nobody thought that Villanova could win. But John Thompson has been there. That is an advantage in the sense that you can help your players understand the issues that are involved when you go to a Final Four.
He looked down low. Williams got his man up in the air and drew the foul.
That's what they want to do. They want to try to get Marcus Camby in foul trouble, so they'll have to play against Tyrone Weeks, who will be one of the people they bring in. Good ball handling here by Al. He knows where he wants to go with the ball. Jerome Williams is standing there, head and shoulder fake. You do that to a shot blocker, they will go for it periodically. That's how you got a foul.
Iverson around the screen, and he'll go to the free throw line for 3 shots. Fouled there by Carmelo Travieso.
You say, why Travieso on Allen Iverson? I think it's a good move. One of the things you can get from that is if you have Travieso on Allen Iverson, even though Padilla may be a better defensive player, it allows Padilla to be more disruptive in the team scheme of things. So I think that's pretty good strategy by John Calipari.
So Allen Iverson, first team All-American, the defensive player of the year in the Big East Conference, steps to the free throw line. 68% free throw shooter on the season.
Well, we've seen him make some plays. I mean, he made a move the other night where he turned his back and flipped it over his head. I have not seen that done in basketball. That's one that you would equate on the Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan kind of playing.
And Iverson struggling right now from the stripe. He had 32 points against Texas Tech. Took 29 shots, however. On the season, he's shooting 49% from the field. And he'll get the 3rd to fall.
He avoided the old hat trick.
Here's a pressure by Georgetown. Broken nicely by Padilla. He'll pick up his dribble and get it back from Dana Dingle.
Pressure doesn't seem to bother these guards too much for UMass. That's their real strength, as they stay under control.
Here's Dingle, senior, out of St. Raymond's in the Bronx. Pulling up inside. He shot a little strong. Hauled in by Victor Page, but he can't hang on to it.
Dana Dingle, I think, is doing a pretty good job trying to make some plays with the ball. He takes this shot, and coming to get the ball is Victor Page, and he just lost his balance. He was in a tough position when he tried to catch it initially.
Travieso, Dingle, swinging it in front.
Out of bounds, Georgetown goes into a little bit of a zone so they can get down and help on Campbell. But that's the other part of his game. He can make passes. Marcus Camby is such a good player because when he gets in here, you got to make a decision where you go. Do you go out there or do you stay where you are? If you come to help, you have to be aware, and that's Allen Iverson in the center that leaves the man. And you see right there, Boubacar Al comes across the top.
There's Dana Dingle inside. First 2 points for him, and UMass with a 4-3 lead. Iverson slaps.
Come back here. It's going there like that. Quickly into the middle before the defense could react. He had it in the hole.
And a turnover. Great pressure defense by Jerome Williams, and watch the All-American go.
He shakes him up a little bit. If Carmelo reaches, that's the mistake. But here's the second. Don't get there too late, Mr. Camby. There's a delivery coming.
Allen Iverson averaging 24.9 points on the season.
Great players like playing against the best. This is something that a star would look for. Allen Iverson fits in that category.
Here's Iverson inside again. This time gets it stripped away going up. Hauled in by Padilla. Ahead, Dingle on the block to the cup. And he's fouled.
I'll tell you what you like about UMass. They are pushing the ball up, attacking this, whether it's on a miss or a make. They're pushing the ball at Georgetown, forcing them to get back. That's how they get a foul called on that play.
And yesterday, Allen Iverson spoke about following UMass this season, and he really wanted to get a chance to play against them when they were the #1 team in the nation, and he feels that right now it's an even better opportunity to see how good he and the Hoyas are, and especially with what they have on the line now, getting the chance to go to the Final Four.
Gus, anytime you get a chance to go against the best and figure out where you are, you got to look forward to that. The good people, the good players like Iverson, always want to see where they measure up. This is it right here. This is the best team in college basketball today, the #1 seed in the tournament, and Allen Iverson and John Thompson wants to see where their team fits with regards to that.
So Dana Dingle stroking the first free throw. Dingle, the 29th player in UMass history to score 1,000 points. He played in 136 straight games. That's a record at UMass. And it's knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Hoyas.
The Hoyas have brought in Jahidi White because they want to try to make sure they can get a big body inside. If Jahidi White is effective for them offensively on the inside, they put Marcus Camby at risk for some fouls, and that's what Georgetown wants to do.
Here's Travieso spotting up in the corner. Offensive rebound. Dingle with the putback.
I like Dingle because he's active, he's versatile, can do things for you on both sides.
5 points for the senior. And UMass with an early 7-5 lead.
Here's an advantage that Georgetown really has. They can bring Jerome Williams out to handle the ball in case there's too much pressure on either Victor Page or Allen Iverson.
Here's Page, who had 17 points against Texas Tech. Harrington, turnaround, fading away, shot short. Camby with the pressure.
Exactly, that's Marcus Camby. They don't measure those kind of plays, but that's Marcus Camby all the way.
Travieso again for the 3. And another rebound by Dingle. He'll get it out. Padilla. Swiped off the glass by Jerome Williams. And he'll push it. Williams dribbling left-handed straight to the hole.
Boy, Georgetown gets a break, but one of the things with Jerome Williams, and you talk to John Thompson, he misses more layups uncontested, and that was one of those. There really was not a lot of contesting there. He just missed the layup, got the rebound.
Is there a reason for that?
He really doesn't concentrate, I don't think. I think that's really what his problem is. He gets there, and all of a sudden he just loses his concentration momentarily.
And so far, Georgetown 2 of 4, UMass 3 of 8. Here's Iverson. Trying to get a step on the baseline. Cut off by Travieso. 16-17 to go here. The first out to play. UMass on top of the Hoyas, 7-5. High pick and roll. Here's Iverson. Pull-up jump shot. Strong off the back of the iron.
He got fouled. There's no doubt in my mind. I saw him say something to the refs. Camelo's gotten away with 2 of those, but if the ref doesn't call it, it's legal.
Spinning. Camby fading away. Weeks fighting for the ball. And Jahidi White comes out with it. Here's Iverson in transition.
Boy, I'll tell you, Padilla's right on him, too.
Travieso with the good hands, but he steps on the line.
You expect it to be a fight, a very aggressively played game. If you're the #1 team, you make people come take it from you.
7-5 UMass.
Back in Atlanta, we got to remember these players are still just kids, and both coaches were a little concerned coming into the game about nerves. John Calipari reminding his players, this is what you live for. Don't be rattled by the challenge. John Thompson began calming his troops yesterday in a slightly different way. The Hoyas spent the first 30 minutes of their practice just sitting on the floor. He told me it was his way of pushing minds, spirits, and emotions back in order. And at this point of the tournament, Gus, he says that's probably his most important job. Back to you guys.
And as Andrea pointed out, important for both coaches to really get into the minds of their kids and settle them down.
These opportunities, you know, for anybody can be a little unsettling. And I think what both coaches did was know you got to have your players with emotion, but controlled emotion, so they know how to respectively get their players to get to that point.
What were the jitters like for you in 76?
I mean, you got butterflies like you can't believe. Even though you're anxious to get out and play, you just sometimes your mind is ahead of your body. So that's why you'll see some turnovers here early, and soon the guys will settle down.
15:03 to go in the first half. Here's Bright. Little strong, rebounded by Boubacar Al. Al running the break for Georgetown. Gets in deep off the glass. A little too strong.
But you know what? The officials are letting them play because they're getting little bumps that are really not affecting the game. And the officials are doing a good job of letting inconsequential things just go, and I think that's important.
So far for Georgetown, 4 turnovers. For UMass, 3.
Number 55, Jahidi White.
And the Minutemen with a 7-5 advantage.
They're playing Tyrone Weeks with Jahidi White. A little bit of a chance to give a break to Marcus Camby, but now he's bringing him back in. You can keep Tyrone Weeks on him because you don't want Marcus Camby trying to guard Jahidi White. He's got big shoulders and he can create fouls for you.
So Victor Page quickly gets the basketball. Iverson working off the wing. Here's Page slashing to the basket.
Marcus Camby said, "Not you can slash, but you can't keep coming this way."
Padilla. Three-pointer for Edgar Padilla, and UMass takes a 10-5 lead. Here's Iverson.
Trying to get it back, but he's playing against some guards that won't necessarily get caught, I don't think, in the tit-for-tat thing, because that's what experience. They're juniors. They've been involved in this kind of game before.
Iverson, a 36% three-point shooter on the season, 82 of 224. Lob, Camby, a little too strong. Travieso has it rejected by Jahidi White.
Jahidi clobbered that one. Padilla threw the ball much too high for even Marcus Camby to get, and Jahidi got over and protected what would have been an easy basket. Good back pick here by Travieso, and the ball comes right to him, and then he tries to shoot, and you see quickly off his feet is Jahidi White.
Here's Camby facing up. He'll spin, trying to go off the glass. Rebounded by Page to Iverson. Nice look.
Iverson makes you come to him to guard him, and then Williams was smart to just stay in the lane because defense tends to go to their best offensive player in Allen Iverson.
We're all tied up at 10 apiece. 13-14 to go in the first half of play. Third tie of the ball game. Edgar Padilla being guarded by the Big East Defensive Player of the Year, Allen Iverson.
They're going to try to get it if they can. Marcus Camby, they'll have a Dingle to come out. Camby usually goes under for that.
Dingle trying to spot Travieso in the corner. 3-on-2. Williams to the bucket.
They are outrunning out of their half-court defense, which is what John Thompson wants his team to do. Be aggressive defensively and find a way to convert it, and that's what they do. They push the ball up to Allen Iverson, back to Jerome Williams. They get that off of a good defensive play. And then the next thing you have to do is if you're guarding your man and your man leaves, then you go to the next place. If you can, then it gets pushed up. Jerome Williams takes it himself this time and gets fouled by Edgar Padilla, misses the layup.
Jerome Williams, a senior from Georgetown, Maryland, junior college transfer, leads the team in rebounding. And for UMass, and one thing about this young man, Quinn, a lot of versatility. You see, he's a tall kid at 6'9", but he can put it on the floor, face the basket, and also play with his back to the basket.
I think it's a big advantage when you have a guy like Jerome Williams at 6'9" that can handle the ball, particularly when they can get rebounds and push it up before the defense can get back into transition. I think that's one of the advantages of having a player like that on your team.
62% free throw shooter for Williams. So far, Marcus Camby unable to get the ball to the bucket. And Jerome Williams nails the second free throw. So far, Georgetown 2 of 5 from the free throw line.
2-2-1 press. If you can get it in the center, you can get it down quickly. Then they drop back in there man-to-man. Just change it up, make you think about it a little bit.
Dante Bright pulling up on the baseline, and he buries it.
And Othello Harrington out on the perimeter. If you got a big man, that's the wise thing to do. Put it down on the block. They got Othello being guarded by Dingle. He traveled. Yeah, he traveled. They've got to do, Georgetown has to do a better job of getting angles on Dingle. But I really like Dana Dingle because I think he's very versatile. I think John Calipari has in Dingle a guy he can play in a number of positions. I wouldn't be surprised to see him guard Allen Iverson.
Iverson getting ready to come back in the ball game. He replaces freshman Joseph Tuomu. So far, Iverson 2 of 3 from the field. He's got 6 points.
Some good coaching going on here. What you have is when Allen Iverson takes a break, John Calipari is trying to let Camilo Travieso take a break as well.
Here's Iverson looking for Harrington, and he has it stolen away. Padilla with the quick hands again. Bright straight to the basket, leans in and draws a foul. Dante Bright, 5 of 14 against Arkansas. He had 11 points. Out of Dunbar High School in Baltimore, so with Georgetown being located in Washington, D.C. Dante Bright, in a sense, only 45 minutes away from the nation's capital, playing against some of his home boys.
Oh, but he also knows this is big when the fellas back at home get a chance to see him go against Georgetown. Because, you know, that's always got to be a conversation. If I don't go to Georgetown, can I come back and beat them? I think this is another very good player for them. I mean, at free throws, he made 40 free throws consecutively this year. Very good free throw shooter. He's the best free throw shooter they have on the team.
Bright's 11 points against Arkansas made him the 9th player in school history to score 500. Now, he sat out his freshman year as a prop 48, so he's done a fantastic job for Coach Calipari at UMass.
He's one of those, he works. The Dana Dingle work, their forwards make things easier, I think, for Marcus Camby, because a lot of the dirty work Marcus has a chance to stay away from because his two forwards will do that for him.
14-11, under 12 to play in the first half. The East Regional Final from Atlanta, Georgia. Harrington.
If you let him turn that to that direction, he's very good with his back to the basket. If he can get going to what would be his right shoulder so he can get his left arm turning to the basket.
Warriors cut it to 1. Stella Harrington, 23.6 rebounds against Texas Tech. Fouled out with 8 minutes remaining on the clock. Here's Padilla trying to get the step. Leaves it. Norville pump fake. It's inside. Swiped down by Williams. And a foul.
Williams has been strong on the glass. Early offensive rebounds were going for UMass, and now Williams has taken a couple here. Strong rebound to push it up.
14-13 UMass. Back in a moment. UMass on top of Georgetown, 14-13. They go about 7 deep, but they're starting 5 when they play a whole lot of minutes.
Well, they do, but they've only had 4 foul-outs. You had 2 by Dingle, 2 by Bright, 1 by Dingle, 1 by Padilla. So they've been able to stay out of foul trouble, which is a real credit to John Calipari and his players' understanding of what they need to get done. Yeah, they have backed way off. They've got a little zone going up, but what the person they stay off of, if you will, is Jerome Williams.
Right now, boxing 1 against Allen Iverson, and it caught the Hoyas off guard. Abella Harrington on the baseline traveling.
Because Marcus Camby jumped to what would have been his right shoulder, and then Othello Harrington tried to turn back the other way, and he picked up his pivot foot.
Here's a pressure. Cross-court pass to Bright. He gets it to Travieso. 10:50 remaining in the first half of play. 14-13. Travieso from downtown.
They make you pay. You cannot gamble and not know where the shooters are. Travieso is a very calm character. He made the pass, and Padilla got it back to him.
Carmelo Travieso shooting 40% from the arc on the season. Here's Iverson. Rebounded by Weeks.
They were in that boxing 1 again. Sometimes they're not able to block out as Massachusetts, but they've got some hustlers on the floor. Weeks is one of them.
Weeks with 7 rebounds against Arkansas, and he tied his career high with 16 points. He's got 3 boards already. Here's Travieso again.
Oh, shooter's touch from there. You throw the ball into Marcus Camby, there's a decision to be made, particularly if the shooter, Travieso, is making the pass. Do I go double team or do I stay on my man? That time Iverson double team. Travieso got the 3.
Carmelo Travieso, 2 of 3 from the arc. Here's Victor Page pushing 1. Rebound coming out to Camby. But a steal. Jerome Williams picking it up there and going in for the layup.
The reason that Victor Page had to push it is Padilla got out on him. That's some pressure.
5-point lead for UMass. There's Camby trying to make himself big inside. Harrington not allowing him to establish position on the post. That one partially deflected, but a foul on Victor Page as he tried to move up court.
When you got a team that is going to stay real aggressive, you got to understand where the pressures are. You run out there, you got to go out hard at a shooter, and that's exactly what happens. Padilla comes out hard there, Victor Page goes down, but there's really not a foul there. That's just the aggressive play. And then Williams does a good job anticipating, stays right there, comes up with the basketball. And I thought that was an important possession here early in the first half to try to stem the tide, as it looked like UMass was going for another basket.
Boxing one still on Allen Iverson. And Georgetown turns the ball over once again. Now, earlier today, the Wildcats from Kentucky, they just went on to beat Wake Forest 83-63 to advance to the Final Four when they look awfully good.
They're tough to beat when they can get you into their game, which is the real aggressive out in the full court area. And that's what they did. Very much like John Thompson would like to do here with his team. You want to put some full court pressure to take Marcus Camby out of the game. That's what Rick Pitino's defense does. It took Tim Duncan out of the game because he can't get an up and down game.
Kentucky will face the winner of this ball game. And right now, UMass up by 5. 8:53 to play. From the Georgia Dome. Here's Bright. Ahead to Weeks.
See, the guards are always an outlet. They may make a pass, and you can one pass away. They will always end up being an outlet.
Dante Bright inside. So Dante Bright will head to the free throw line. So far, the guys in the middle, quiet. Othello Harrington and Marcus Camby.
Marcus Camby at this point is getting, I think, more help from the balance of his team. I think Travieso and Padilla have done a good job defensively. They've deflected balls. Dante Bright has been, I think, big because he's been able to create some scoring opportunities, which takes a lot of pressure off of Marcus Camby to have to feel like he needs to score all the time. And even Dana Dingle, when he was in early, got some offensive rebounds, so they've gotten more help.
Dante Bright, a perfect 3 of 3 from the free throw line, 7 points. And he knocks down the second. UMass on top 22-15. Allen Iverson now going back to point guard. UMass in the man-to-man. It's Iverson. To Heidi White, posted up on Weeks. Iverson trying to explode down the baseline. His shot partially blocked by Travieso.
Great defense by Travieso to get a hand on that one.
Padilla to Camby.
UMass is playing some solid defense, and even more importantly, after they play the good defense, they have had the ability to push it down and make plays on the other end. That's good defense. Allen Iverson couldn't extend his hand to go toward the basket because Travieso was right there, and out of that came the fast break thing. The ball got pushed up, and Marcus Camby is now on the foul line after a 20-second timeout.
So John Calipari's team on top 22-15, 8:13 remaining in the first half of play. UMass 34-1 on the season. They were 15-1 in the Atlantic 10. Now don't forget, tomorrow out in Denver, Kansas and Syracuse, 2 great ball games as Kansas beat Arizona and Syracuse at the buzzer almost beating Georgia.
Yeah, it was. John Wallace makes a difficult shot. I mean, but he made it look easy for a big man. Took it between his legs and pulled up and shot a 3-pointer and did a good job. That should be a very good contest.
Here's a young man that decided not to go into the National Basketball Association last year, came back for a senior season and really has shown some improvement.
You know, I've yet to see a young man make a decision to do that and really be harmed. Vashawn Leonard, who was at Minnesota, decided to stay in school when he was at Minnesota after going into the draft, came back and stayed, and he was better off for it because he wasn't going to make the team he was going to.
24-15 UMass. Their biggest lead right now, 9 points. Jerry Nichols in the ball game for Georgetown.
With Yaya Ja out on the floor, Marcus Camby is able to just block up everything. Nichols can make the shot. Oh, Dante, please. You got to get out there.
Dante Bright sending it out of bounds. UMass looking strong. welcome back to Atlanta. 7:48 to go, 24-15. Dante Bright, so far, he's played a solid game for this Minutemen ball club.
He has been very, very solid. He's made plays on the offensive end early, getting some offensive rebounds. He made that defensive play. But it's been the play of both Bright and Dingle that's allowed UMass to get this lead, in addition to their guards. I mean, people say, you know, they're not very deep. Well, they can't get in minutes from anybody else because their guards and their other forwards are so solid. How are you going to get anybody else minutes? And you know about Marcus Camby.
4 points now for Camby, 26-15. Georgetown right now having problems getting good shots. And we'll have a foul at the top of the key. Marcus Camby taking it to the hole.
Well, he gets it. Padilla waits, lets the defense go through, and Jerry Nichols does a poor job in protecting, but Marcus Camby shows you his ability to put it on the floor and go to the basket.
Marcus Camby, first team All-American. A favorite to become the player of the year in college basketball.
Jerry Nichols at the line, shooting one.
He presents so many problems. I was talking to Coach John Thompson about him yesterday, and he was just saying, you know, this is one guy that can win the game for you on either end of the floor because he's long, he blocks shots. He's blocked 300 shots already, and not Shaquille O'Neal was one of the few players to do that as freshman, sophomore, and junior. So now you know what he does defensively. He can control it from the other end.
Padilla, top of the key, Bright, putting it on the deck, double teamed in the corner. Got it up top to Travieso. Padilla almost lost it out of bounds. It was Bright on the backside, hopping inside. He shot a little strong. And Jerome Williams, no place to land, and he travels with the basketball.
I frankly thought, because it looked like Dante Bright was standing there. Now, if Dante Bright goes down and he goes down on top of him, what is that? They say it's traveling, and Jerome Williams has just got to deal with it. Dante Bright again making plays for UMass. 9
turnovers right now for the Hoyas. 26-15, 6:45 to go in the first half of play. The winner of this game heading to New Jersey to play in the Final Four. They'll take on Kentucky. Here's Weeks. Got it.
Oh, go for it, big fella. Off the double team, he makes it.
Tyrone Weeks, a junior from Philly.
You know, as you look at Georgetown now, you see a play going into Tyrone Weeks. He's double teamed, and coming over there was Othello Harrington. He got there too late. You can see Weeks is happy. But I'm looking at faces in Georgetown. There's a little perplexed coming on the face. Like, you know, what's going on here? What's going on is UMass is playing a very good basketball game. They're not #1 for nothing.
So Tyrone Weeks, a 71% free throw shooter. Unable to get that one to fall. Right now, UMass on an 8-0 run in the last 3 minutes. They lead at 27-15. Look for Iverson to look toward the basket a little bit more. Here's Harrington. Offensive rebound and put back Yaya Ja.
They're not getting anything out of the press because the two guards are too good. They're going to have to try to get some offensive rebound baskets in order to get back in the game. But defense is what's carried them before. Tough shot.
Tyrone Weeks rebound. And it's sent back out of bounds by Yaya Ja.
That time, Marcus Camby ended up taking a tough shot. And on the other side is Weeks. That's over basically 2 people tough. But Tyrone Weeks got good position on that side. Yaya Ja comes and sends it back.
Four blocks for UMass, 3 for Georgetown. Here's Weeks. And he'll get it back to Edgar Padilla to start the offense. 5:47 to play. UMass doing a great job handling the Georgetown pressure. Georgetown, however, unable to get good looks at the basket. Travieso!
It was on the other side. Georgetown goes into a 2-3 out of bounds, and no one picked him up. Carmelo, I thought, did a very good job of staying behind the defense so they couldn't see him from Georgetown. Gets a 3-pointer.
Carmelo Travieso has hit his last 3 3-pointers. 3 of 5. Allen Iverson on the other end.
They got that one because there was a pick set if nobody stood up. But so far, Carmelo Travieso has done a very good job on Allen Iverson.
11-point lead for UMass, and a foul. Edgar Padilla drawing the hold on Joseph Tuomu.
Right here is where Carmelo Travieso is, and he's going to go here and stay behind the defense, and they don't pick him up. And watch the ball movement. See, nobody picks him up. Chase it up top. That's too far for Yaya Ja to get, but that's a three-point shooter that makes him quite often the best three-point shooter on their team at 40%. Carmelo Travieso.
In the Atlantic 10 tournament, Carmelo Travieso was 7 of 13 from the three-point line against Temple. Now, the other day at the press conference, he also had some problems, however. Got a couple of laughs out of it. Carmelo, fortunately, was okay, but he fell off the platform at the interview table. And he was okay. His back was a little tight, but he's on the floor and played against Arkansas as well.
He came out on the floor, and his teammates gave him a standing ovation. So, you know, they enjoyed the fact that he was all right. So they let him know about it, too.
And here's Mr. Iverson starting to heat up a bit. 12 points, 33-23. Hoyas trailing by 10. 4:42 to go in the first half. Marcus Camby, been quiet here, putting it on the floor. Pulling up inside and knocking it down.
Go at it, big fella. There was pressure on the backside of him, and he just kind of shrugged it off.
6 points for Marcus. Here's Iverson. Being pressed by Travieso.
They've got him working awful hard. That's a long time to have the ball, but he felt it.
Rebound Dante Bright. He's in a hurry. Travieso.
Oh, no, he took a deep one.
And here's Iverson. Trying to needle his way through traffic in the open court. Gets it to Harrington. Iverson back to Harrington. He'll muscle his way towards the basket. Shot too strong.
This is the defense of UMass. I'm telling you, they guard you so well. There is either two people coming at you and always a body between you and the basket. They don't lead the country in field goal percentage because they just kind of go about it passively. They come out and attack you. John Calipari has done an outstanding job defensively. You can just watch. Allen Iverson gets the ball, and then he passes it. You see there are two people around the ball with Harrington. He gives it back to Iverson. You see stepping up is Camby, who's just been patrolling the center and caused that difficult shot to be taken by Othello Harrington. Outstanding defense by the Minutemen.
And this season, UMass, everybody talks about the way they can put the ball in the basket with Marcus Camby, but look how they've defended teams. 38% from the field, allowing only 61 points per game. That's 9th in the nation. 38% is 6th in the nation.
That combination, though, has got to be considered one of the top in the country, because sometimes your numbers can be down, i.e. Princeton, because of the style of play that it creates. But a team that makes you shoot bad shots, that combination with the fact that they get after you defensively means a low field goal percentage defensively and low numbers. Is that basket good? Oh, no!
Yes, it is. Allen Iverson.
Fella, please. I mean, I thought he was checked off. I thought UMass had him exactly where they wanted him to check him off. Carmelo's right there in front of him. Little contact. He goes up. There's a reach. And they call it on Travieso. Dante Bright tries to get an offensive foul call. But you see Iverson, who's been trying to get some foul calls from the officials, got going on a little roll. Got to keep an eye on him now. You may have to run two after him just to get the ball out of his hands. He's starting to heat up.
Iverson now with 15 points, and UMass still leading Georgetown.
There's a timeout on the floor.
35-26, 3:29 remaining in the first half of play, and our game summary: Georgetown shooting 42%, UMass 39%. Iverson 15 points already.
Iverson starts to warm up. He makes those 2 threes and a three-point play, and he starts to get it going a little bit. He can carry the team for a while, but they're going to have to get much more distribution with the basketball for Georgetown in order to have a chance against a very good defensive team like UMass. They just make you every one of your shots you take it contested.
Here's Camby. Getting it back out to Padilla. Nice look back to Camby. His shot short. Gets his own rebound. Turning to the basket, and he got it.
See, the problem with Georgetown is they just don't have anybody big enough to guard Camby. Baseball pass, that one by Othello Harrington.
Harrington looking like a drop-back quarterback there as he fouled Tuomu in stride for the bucket and the foul.
Othello Harrington is a player that gets his head up. As soon as the ball goes out of bounds, you see he's got his head up, looking on the other side, and then a nice little wide receiver play made there by Joseph Tuomu. Get that one down, try to get a three-point play.
Free throw good by Tuomu. Georgetown now trailing 37-29. 3:07 to play in the first half. Here's Camby.
You know where the guards are so good? They've got great eyes. Edgar Padilla, every time he seems as though he's going to get trapped, even in midair, he finds a player. And that time, he just looked up and there's a guy open and he can find him. Some guards get rattled by press and they don't find people.
Travieso. Quick release. Rebound Dante Bright on the backside. Tipped away, and Iverson is fouled by Padilla. That's the second foul on Edgar Padilla. 10th team foul called against UMass. So Allen Iverson steps to the line, 2 shots.
12, Edgar Padilla, that's his second.
Georgetown now in the double bonus.
10 team foul.
Edgar Padilla, you wouldn't want him to get his 3rd foul. He's a very important foul because he's the one that really runs the offense. Had 5 steals in the last game. So he is the guy that gives you a lot of latitude as to what you do both offensively and defensively with Edgar Padilla. He and Carmelo Travieso, they born on the same day in Puerto Rico. These guys really are in tune with each other. And I don't think it has much to do with born on the same day. Their spirit is so attached. You can see they're both very, very feisty guys.
So Georgetown, they've cut it to 6, 37-31 UMass. Almost a steal. Great hands by Dingle, and it's poked away from behind by Tuomu.
And makes a save because he had just about kicked the ball out of bounds.
The question is, can the Hoya pressure wear down UMass?
Well, I don't know if it's as much the pressure as what really depends on what happens is if there's not people in the game that come in and make plays. When you try to put pressure on people to create steals, you see right here, Padilla makes the pass, throws it a little bit to the outside of Dingle, and Dingle does not see Joseph Tuomu coming from the backside. Got Othello Harrington on this 1-2-1-1 press. Long arms can make it difficult. 10 seconds. So that's what you want to get out of it. John Calipari is saying to Marcus Camby, you've got to come back and get the ball. Because Marcus and it's a tendency for people on the backside of any press to start going back away from it. John Calipari is telling him, you got to come get it.
10th turnover for UMass. On the season, they only averaged 12. Here's Iverson putting it on the floor, fade away. Rebounded by Dingle.
You can see when Allen Iverson, one of the issues he's got to deal with, he is so slight that he got bumped.
Steal, Tuomu. Georgetown right now on a 10-2 run. They cut it 37-33 with 1:33 to play in the first half.
Hadn't had much to do with the stars in the game. Tuomu will put good pressure on the ball.
Padilla slowing things down a bit.
That's why they don't get rattled. You give everybody a chance to catch their breath, take a look. Oh, don't shake him up like that, big fella. You get it, put pressure on. Here, Padilla tries to turn the corner. He goes back, and out of nowhere comes Joseph Tuomu, who's been, I think, a big spark for the Hoyas coming off the bench. He's been out there trying to pressure the ball. You see 7 points for Georgetown, but 16 off of 9. A possible 18 points you can get off of those turnovers, and UMass has 16 of them.
Biggest lead by UMass was 14 when they led 31-17, but now Minutemen only leading 37-33 was with Marcus Camby at the free throw line as Boubacar Al takes a seat. And coming in the ball game right now, Charlton Clark, a freshman. Another one out of St. Raymond's in the Bronx.
They get Charlton Clark in the game because they've got to get Edgar Padilla off. He has 2 fouls. You don't want him to pick up his 3rd foul with 1:13 to go.
So Marcus Camby, 70% free throw shooter on the season. And he misses the second, rebounded by Harrington.
Oh, well, that's Marcus Camby threw an elbow at Jahidi White for no apparent reason. And right here in front of us, and the official was happened to be looking right at him. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I mean, they're both running down court. They've been a little talking. Watch his right elbow. He takes a shot. Now, mind you, he can't hurt Jahidi White with that. Not with that little knock, but he picks up a stupid foul, his second, by just taking a shot at Jahidi White.
Jahidi goes 6'9", 270. Sophomore out of St. Louis. And he's lost weight this year.
Yeah, he's lost weight. They've done a good job. John Thompson, as a matter of fact, puts him out of the film session, makes him go work out, and has told him, if you eat right, work right, your game will come back, and that's exactly what's happened. And I think it's really helped this young man's confidence. It has obviously helped Georgetown in the way they play. When he's in the game, you can put Othello Harrington back at power forward, which is his natural position.
And Jahidi White missing the first. Now coming up at halftime, Pat O'Brien, Coach Raveling, and Coach Krzyzewski. And they'll have a conversation with Kansas coach Roy Williams after that big win over Arizona last night. And Jahidi White nailing the second free throw. Georgetown trailing now by 4. With 1:06 to play in the first half. Here's Dante Bright. Crowd wanted to travel.
They had a right to want it because before he made the pass, he put down the other foot. His pivot foot was already down. He put down the other one.
Camby setting the screen for Padilla. Slides through. Face in the basket. Marcus Camby to his left. His shot strong. Knocked out of bounds. Last touch by the Hoyas.
On that weak side, what I'm telling you, Tyrone Weeks has made his presence felt. I mean, he is always getting his hand on the ball, either coming up with the rebound, caused Joseph Tuumu to knock that one down. One of the few guys off the bench that makes a significant contribution.
Here's Travieso, pump fake, puts it on the floor. 29 seconds on the shot clock, 31 on the game clock. Here's Padilla taking his time against freshman Damon Jackson. 16 on the shot clock now. Weeks setting the screen. Here's Padilla.
Oh, he had him in the air.
They reverse it. Camby off the glass. Can't get it to fall. Rebound off. 8 seconds left in the first half. Boubacar Al. 4 seconds left. I don't think Tuomo knows how much time is left.
No, they didn't. He had no idea. He lost total track of time, and John Thompson, a little disappointed that he didn't see it, but his team has found a way to fight back into this.
So Marcus Camby, 9 points, 4 rebounds, 2 blocks in the first half of play, and UMass takes a 38-34 lead and the halftime. Coming up next, we'll go back to New York and Pat O'Brien.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship.
Head to the second half, UMass leading by 4. Now let's go to Andrea Joyce for a report.
All right, guys, John Calipari's message to his team about this game has been very simple all along. Make it hard for them. And now with Iverson heating up, they really want the players to work hard at wearing him down. They also feel like they need to do a better job handling the Georgetown pressure, and they got to get the ball inside to Camby more to get him more involved in the offense. Back to you guys.
And thank you very much, Andrea. UMass, when leading at halftime, they are 24-0. But keep in mind, the last 2 tournament games for Georgetown, they trailed at halftime by 3 points and went on to win. They trail by 4 now. Tipped up and in by Marcus Camby to start the second half.
Yeah, Georgetown came out and acted as though they were in a 2-3 zone, and then they attacked the man with the basketball, and you could see that UMass was waiting for that play.
Runner by Victor Page, way off the mark, and we'll have a jump ball. Possession arrow in the favor of the Hoyas. Gus Johnson and Quinn Buckner with you, and your feelings on the first half of play.
Well, I thought that UMass got a lot of support from Dingle, and I thought Bright was very good for them. They were able to keep Iverson taking some difficult shots, and when you do that, it takes Georgetown out of their flow because they're not sure where he's going to take shots from.
Hook shot rejected by Marcus Camby. Here's Iverson, got a great look, still can't get it to fall.
The rejection is called a hand. He gave him a hand all over that ball. And that was not a half block, that was a whole block.
Third block for Marcus Camby at 116 on the year.
We talked about that he can make plays on the other end for you because it looked like Othello was into his rhythm, could knock that one down, and Camby was just there, put it where he felt it needed to go.
Here's Camby.
So he comes get you on the other end. He had 10 shots in the first half and only made 3 of those. But you can see, as Andrew said, coming out in the second half, they're going to put the ball in his hands and let him make plays.
Iverson went up with it, changed his shot. No foul call. Here's Harrington. And this time it's a tie-up, and UMass will get it back.
They're letting them play. They're letting the young players make the plays that need to be played. They're not calling tic-tac fouls. You would think that would bode well for Georgetown, but it seems as you watch Edgar Padilla get his hand on the ball that it hadn't boded not necessarily well for Georgetown, but definitely I think that that whole energy that Padilla brings and UMass has, it's boded much better for the Minutemen.
Travieso can be on the baseline, and he's starting to heat up here in the second half. Marcus Camby, 3 for 3. UMass on a 6-0 run. They now lead by 10.
But they've been able to get him the ball where he can be more effective before the defense can get back and you can get 2 people on it on the baseline, stepped out a little bit.
Here's Iverson. Got the step. Taken off to Omu at the 3-pointer.
See, Dingle and Bright have been chasing all of those plays down.
Here's Bright. Great move.
Knock it down, Dante. Push the ball up before the defense get back. You know that Georgetown wants to pressure you. If you get it down to the far end before the pressure ever gets there, then they really can't put a whole lot of pressure on you, and that's what UMass has been doing. Padilla pushes it up. Dante is starting to go in. He gets there. He sees there's help. He waits to come down, knocks it off the glass. Right there, nice little spin move. Up and under, Owl fouls, and then Jahidi White comes over, but they could give it to Owl because of the ball fake that got him out of position. Again, Dante Bright, Dana Dingle have been super here, I think, in this game. Dante Bright now has 10 points. He's got 4 rebounds, a block. Dana Dingle has 5 points. These guys, I like it. I mean, I like to see somebody else step up. When you're in a game like this, you need some help.
UMass on an 8-0 run to start the second half of play. They now lead it 46-34 with Dante Bright trying to complete the 3-point play. He's a perfect 4 of 4 from the free throw line on the season. On the game, rather.
Marcus Camby goes to the bench knowing that he put forth a lot of efforts. John Calipari takes him out of the game. They can do it because Tyrone Weeks can play because Jahidi White's in the game and has not been a factor yet.
Here's Iverson, baseline cutter, leaves it for White. And Jahidi White picks up the foul inside.
I think in order for Georgetown to get themselves back in this game and potentially get any kind of control, Allen Iverson has to become more of a passer. They are playing him to take shots, and he's now being taking some difficult shots. He's got to go draw the defense and find his teammates.
Jahidi White at the line shooting 2.
Allen Iverson this season has had 2 40-point games. One against Miami and also another in the preseason NIT against Arizona. And Jahidi White knocking down the first free throw, shoots 47% from the free throw line. Big fella has really improved as the season's gone on.
Done very well. Speaking of Allen Iverson in his scoring, he's got 88 points here in just the 3 games he's played so far, so he can get numbers on the board. But his numbers, the way he tries to go get them now is taking some of his teammates out of it. And that's where I think he's got his team.
Travieso off the front of the rim. Here's Williams pushing it up the floor. And this is what UMass wants Georgetown to do, and that's play the half-court offense. They feel very comfortable with the Hoyas slowing the ball down.
That's because UMass plays great defense. I mean, they're willing to take their chance that they can play better defense than you can play offense, and they have proven that they are a very sound defensive team.
Off shot there by Iverson, and Marcus Camby returns to the ball game. 7:13 to play in the second half. UMass leading Georgetown 47-35. The East Regional Final in Atlanta, Georgia. UMass beating Arkansas. And Georgetown taking care of Texas Tech, the winner to face Kentucky. Here's Camby, jump stop high off the glass.
Give it to your center, let him break the press, and then knock a little jump shot off the glass.
17 for Camby. 49-35. Here's Page trying to slide in, rejected by Bright, and recovered by Camby.
Can't say it enough. Quietly, Dante Bright has been huge.
Here's Padilla. Padilla
being hounded by Drew Moore.
There's Camby, 12 on the shot clock. Camby sliding in. Soft one won't fall. Rebounded by Harrington. And after that big night of fella Harrington, quiet. Only 1 rebound.
Well, I think that's one of the things that Allen Iverson has got to help him do, is get him involved in the game, and that's the other way to get some offensive rebounds and try to get something going for yourself there.
Harrington 1 rebound and only 2 points, but he'll go to the line here.
Well, Allen Iverson has the ball, and he takes the little shot right here, and you see Othello Harrington give a little shove and get away with it. But you see Marcus Camby out of position and tries to keep that shot from being put up by Othello Harrington, but fouls it.
So Othello Harrington stepping to the free throw line. Came in as the high school player of the year out of Murrah High School in Jackson, Mississippi. Played with Ronnie Henderson. Also Jesse Pate from Arkansas going to Murrah High School. Some feel that he hasn't lived up to some expectations, but if you talk to Coach Thompson, that's not the case at all. Othello has done the things that Coach Thompson wants him to do on the basketball court, and that's going to really translate at the next level.
I think because he had to have some character to do it. When you bring a freshman in to take away a team that had ostensibly been that of Othello Harrington, then he doesn't say anything, and he stands up and does what he's supposed to do. He deserves credit for that.
Here's Iverson with the steal. Iverson kicking out to Page. Page has been quiet.
See, this is too much dribbling to get a basket.
Yaya Ja. Rebound controlled by Norville. Enos Norville trying to bounce it off of Page.
This play right now is got it going up to where Georgetown wants it, even though you got some sound guards up at the Travieso. Love this play.
Travieso.
They love this play to get the momentum coming off that side.
12 points for Carmelo Travieso. He's 4 of 9 from the three-point line, 52-36. UMass threatening to run away with it. Iverson knocked out of bounds. He'll stay down here. 14:56 left in the second half of play. Minutemen looking strong. (52-36) UMass, 14:56 to go in the second half. UMass 6 of 9 from the field. Georgetown 0 for 9.
Yeah, and part of the reason they're 0 for 9, that play there, you couldn't see if the ball went off of Travieso's foot, but that was such great anticipation by Travieso to get over there and cut that area off of Allen Iverson. That's why UMass is in their position. Their offense has been okay, but their defense has been excellent.
Here's Iverson off the front of the rim. Hustled down by Norville.
See, Iverson's trying to do this by himself. I know they depend on him to score, but he's really going back. That's why, as a sophomore, you can see he's got some things to learn. This one you can't force. This team is too good you're playing against.
Dana Dingle inside, and he draws a whistle.
You know, and I go back to Allen. I mean, and he's an outstanding player. And I think, you know, with some time, he will be. You see, he's got 17. The team has 19. What he's got to do, the 17 is good, but get somebody else in the game. And, you know, there's some people that need to step up. Victor Page is one that scores normally for them. He hadn't been much of a factor. Othello hadn't been much of a factor. But Othello's in a dependent position. He depends on Victor Page, Allen Iverson, and the balance of the team to get him the ball to make plays. Allen Iverson is one that can do that.
14-26, 53-36, UMass. Here's Damon Jackson.
Now you got to remember, UMass has been in this before. They have been in the Elite Eight before. They lost last year to Oklahoma State in New Jersey. So they have a bunch of players that know how to do this. But Georgetown does not. This is new to these guys.
Last 4 years, UMass, there's a record, losing to Oklahoma State last year and failing to advance to the Final Four. 14 minutes away right now from New Jersey. They lead at 53-38.
Played against Big Country at Oklahoma State, and Big Country was too big for them.
And a foul inside. Othello Harrington going up, and he is pushed from behind by Enos Norville. And Norville, a sophomore from Fayetteville, North Carolina, will head to the sidelines. Third team foul called against the Minutemen.
Calipari again doing a good job getting Enos Norville in just to give minutes so you can give a blow to Marcus Camby.
Iverson in the corner. He'll get it back from Harrington. It's Iverson pulling it from the baseline. Strong. Scramble for the ball, and a foul called against Iverson.
I thought he had the ball. Allen is trying to make plays. He goes after this one and get it. It looked to me as though he had the ball, but Tyrone Weeks is just so strong. He just threw him around, and the officials standing there felt that there was a foul to be called. But Weeks, again, we keep talking about the players. Marcus Camby has been good. The balance of this team, I think, has played great.
Third foul on Allen Iverson. Here's Tyrone Weeks. Take a dribble and try to find a guard.
See, the guards make themselves available. That's what those little plays don't go down in the stat book. But when a guard makes himself available when there's a guy that can't handle the ball, that's valuable.
And Damon Jackson to the basket again. So the freshman from Alexandria, Virginia, now with 4 points. And UMass on top 53-40. 13:09 to play. Here's Travieso. Pulling out, and he gets wiped out.
Got taken out on that one.
Bodies flying everywhere. Joseph Tuomu.
Georgetown trying to create some tempo there that they can get after. You see Joseph Tuomu makes a play after that one. Happens to be a bad play and a foul.
In for Georgetown, number 42, Jerome Williams. Number 3,
Carmelo Travieso really making Georgetown pay with his three-point shooting. 53-40. There's Dante Bryant inside, and it rattles in. If you read the papers here in Atlanta, many of the writers had Georgetown favored to win this ball game.
A lot of people I talked to had Georgetown favored. I'd like to come to these games and just let them be played out. You would think that Georgetown, because of the bodies they have, would just be too difficult to handle. But Marcus Camby just picked up his 4th foul. going after that shot. But for Georgetown, you think the bodies would wear down UMass. They right now have gotten Marcus Camby his 4th foul. We need to watch this. 12:34 to go. 4th foul picked up by Marcus Camby. This is the point we've got to watch the game. This is what I said. You got to get it involved in the game. Well, fellow Harrington, he does. Marcus Camby, I think, makes a good block on that one. But he's got to understand those kind of plays he can't afford to make because his team depends on it.
So Othello Harrington headed to the free throw line. He's the best free throw shooter on the team at 74%. And if there is an Achilles heel for Coach Calipari's team, it's their depth. But all season long, especially over a 4-game stretch, UMass, they're accustomed to playing without the big fella.
So I think for teams to win championships, basically, if they get some adversity and get through it, it builds confidence. These are young people. They don't know what it's like to, whether they can get through a tough time till you put them through it. And they've gotten through the tough time having lost Marcus Camby for those 4 games, and they had some success with it. So they can play without Marcus Camby for more than the short stretches.
Camby missed 4 games after collapsing prior to the St. Bonaventure game. He spent time in the UMass Medical Center as they ran tests, and it turned out to be just a situation in which Camby fainted. He hadn't eaten all day prior to the ball game, and he passed out. Here's Iverson, quick to the hole. Had it tied up on the way up, and it goes off his knee.
Having a tough time getting any kind of break on a call, but he goes into traffic. Allen Iverson gets it. UMass does a good job. See, they all reach for the ball, didn't feel that was a foul, and so the officials don't make that, and without that call, it goes off Allen Iverson's leg.
Padilla, lobbed inside. Weeks got his man up in the air, the easy bucket. These guys play really well together.
They know how to play. There are a lot of teams that have guys on the floor that don't have the understanding of, if you're inside, give a little ball fake. If there's traffic, find your point guard. This team knows how to do those little things.
So far, look at the front court scoring for UMass, outscoring Georgetown's 36-11.
That's a little bit because you got Allen Iverson. That skews that, because Allen Iverson's such a good offensive player, is that you take the front court out of Georgetown's team. But UMass has done a good job keeping it in here with Tyrone Weeks.
5 years.
Georgetown in trouble. They trail it 57-41 last night. The second #1 seed going down. First Purdue, now Connecticut, as they lost to Mississippi State. And Syracuse, however, keeping their season alive. And it's been tough on the Big East so far in the 90s. No appearances in the Final Four.
Well, they've got a tough go here. Georgetown playing this UMass team, and you know, Syracuse has got to come to play in order to give themselves a chance as well. But you know, the Syracuse game, I'm telling you, the play with John Wallace was an excellent play for a big man. To be able to take that the length of the court, and he looked up and knew how much time was on the clock. I mean, it's good to see, you know, the young people when they play the game the way it's supposed to be played.
Here's Harrington, and he's fouled on the floor. Othello Harrington, when they get him the ball, Quinn, he's able to make some things happen. Maybe the ball doesn't go into the basket, but he's drawing fouls inside.
Well, more so now with Marcus Camby with 4 fouls, they can get some things done.
Here's Harrington again. They're going to go back to him. Turn it with the left hand, and he got the soft one to go in.
Well, that's what the timeout gave John Thompson a chance to do, to tell his team, look, if we're going to play smart, we need to throw the ball inside. And because the other thing they have is Allen Iverson is out of the game, so Othello becomes their primary offensive weapon.
And we'll get a holding foul called against Victor Page as he hangs on to Dana Dingle.
You see, they get the ball into Othello. He gets to turn the way he likes to turn, where he can come with that little left hand. Just not enough height from Weeks to be able to stop that.
Marcus Camby back in the ball game, playing with 4 fouls.
All right, we got 10:39 to go here. This is where Georgetown, you'll find out if they understand how to play. You got to go after it.
Great pass to Camby.
Height. You don't get tired. If you're 7 feet tall, even when you're tired, you don't shrink.
That play, though, created by Carmelo Travieso. as he beat his man off the dribble.
The guards are so good. Look, Travieso's been scoring. He sees Yaya Ja and Othello Harrington coming. Camry didn't even have to jump. The pass was right there where he needed to be, right where he could catch it, put it up, looking to complete the three-point play.
Totally different second half for Marcus Camby. He's 5 of 6 from the field in the second half. Was 3 of 10 from the field in the first half, and he'll quickly go out of the game.
Great. This was great. Offensively, was able to get him back in the game to get the points, the total to go back up, so you can absolutely get some control here. Good play, great coaching there with John Calipari.
60-43 UMass, and nobody thought that this game would end up like this, but right now, Othello Harrington showing the entire arsenal as he puts it on the floor and goes to the hole, picks up the foul.
You see, they cleared the whole left side out for him, so there's no help. And then coming over, Padilla gets called for the foul. Norville couldn't stop him.
Marcus Camby on the bench, picked up his 4th foul at 12:34 of the second half. So Othello Harrington starting to...
They're putting up, look, they're going to try to get Camby back in the game, because this is where a coach knows his player. John Calipari feels that offensively, there's little chance that Marcus Camby will get an offensive foul. He may get one trying to block a shot, but he doesn't feel that he'll get one trying to do something offensively, so he puts him back in with 4.
Harrington with 9 points now, 60-46.
They'll get trapped there. Georgetown will always trap you if you get in that position.
And a foul. That's Iverson trying to go for the steal. He picks up his 4th.
Well, that also allows Marcus Camby or John Calipari to make a decision. Does he want to keep Marcus Camby in the game or take him out? Allen Iverson's one of the steal leaders in the country. He can't help his instincts. He puts his hand in there and is not able to get it because Dana Dingle stinks. He takes it fast, and that's where Allen Iverson, he's maturing in that regard and understanding, look, if you're going to go for that one, you better be darn sure you'll get it. Otherwise, Coach Thompson has to take him out of the game. He sits down, and now you look to go to Othello Harrington to get offense. You lose one of your offensive weapons.
So on the floor right now for Georgetown, Victor Page, Joseph Tuomu, Othello Harrington, Yaya Ja, and freshman Damon Jackson. So we have 3 freshmen on the floor for Georgetown, and for UMass, Edgar Padilla, Dana Dingle, Carmelo Travieso, Tyrone Weeks, and Dante Bright.
Now, at this stage of the game, John Calipari just told Edgar Padilla, look, we've got 3 timeouts and a 20. If there are any problems, and that's how he keeps in touch with his guards, and his guards will be able to make some good decisions given that kind of knowledge.
Lobbed inside to Harrington, no call on the play. Here's Padilla, guarded by Tuomu. Draws a double team, and a whistle and a foul.
Georgetown making substitutions, getting Jerome Williams in, hopefully they can get a little more help, take a fellow out, and Allen Iverson is coming back in.
So Joseph Tuomu picks up the foul. Allen Iverson coming in with 4 fouls. Had 17 points in the first half. And he still has 17. Has not scored in the second half, and we've played over 10 minutes.
Saw Victor Page sit down. Victor Page is a guy you can normally count on to get some numbers. Hasn't been able to do anything offensively here. That puts a lot of pressure on the balance of the team. But you know what? That's a freshman. I mean, that's what you get out of them. There's some days they come big for you, but they're freshmen. This whole process can be a little much for them at times, and I think that's part of what Victor Page is dealing with this afternoon, in addition to some good defense by UMass.
Page had 17 points against Texas Tech. Here's Iverson. Travieso, what a job he's done sliding with Iverson this evening. Trying to stay in front of the All-American. Iverson on the baseline.
The footwork by Padilla and Travieso is excellent.
And a steal. Knocked away from Jerome Williams. Squirts out to Edgar Padilla. 9:08 to play. 63-46. UMass trying to advance to the Final Four in the school's history. Ahead, Iverson. Cutting to the basket. Loose ball picked up by Padilla, but he traveled.
He was on the ground with the ball, and he got up off the ground with it, that's traveling. You're not allowed to do that. Allen Iverson pushes the ball up. He gets there, tries to draw a foul, and actually gets himself off balance there a little bit. And I say to you again, it looks as though he is trying to do too much, almost like he did his first year in school. He needs to bring it back a little bit. Understand, get it stopping and going. Your changing direction is your biggest advantage when you have the quickness of Allen Iverson.
And there he goes with the three-pointer. Iverson's got 20 points. First field goal of the second half. Now, earlier today, Rick Pitino and his Kentucky Wildcats just rolling over Wake Forest, 83-63. They'll face the winner, and can't say enough about Kentucky and what they've done in the tournament thus far after that scare in the first 8 minutes in the first round for the Wildcats.
That was about it. They played the game against at the SEC tournament in the final against Mississippi State, who had a very sound game in beating Connecticut. And since then, Kentucky seems to have been much more focused on what it was they were trying to get accomplished.
Georgetown
Kentucky
number 22
against San Jose State in the first round allowed San Jose State to play with them.
You know, but I don't know how much of that was not some of the residual from having gotten beat by Mississippi State. Just took them a while to settle, you know, get themselves together again, get righted. But I suspect everybody that's played them so far.
We haven't had a close game thus far. Beating Virginia Tech, Utah. And we go inside Georgetown, trying to hang tough. And they'll go to the free throw line for the three-point play.
You can't let anybody get in this position, including Othello Harrington. Padilla tries to get there to help, and Weeks is just not strong enough or tall enough to keep Othello from getting to that left hand and getting it knocked down.
64-51. And Harrington now 3 of 6 from the free throw line, 11 points.
Doesn't help your calls at all when your best foul shooter, who's a 70% foul shooter, doesn't give you the 3 of 6.
Dante Bright gets it pinned on the backboard by Harrington. Here's Williams. Tried to needle inside to Boubacar Aw, and he can't handle the pass.
Because he was in between as to what pass it should be. It should have been a bounce pass, and he ended up throwing it as a chest pass, and that's why he threw it too hard.
So here's Hector Padilla, guarded by Allen Iverson. Padilla doing a great job controlling the tempo offensively for UMass. Dante Bright on the hop inside. Tapped up. Here's Dingle, left hand, and he's fouled.
But what about the play with Bright? I mean, the presence of mind to tip that ball back to Dana Dingle. I mean, you said this guy we were talking about, this is a man. Dante Bright is a guy that comes with great strength. And I don't mean physical strength. You can just tell there's a toughness about him because he's been going to get tough rebounds, making tough, intelligent plays.
Played at Dunbar High School, was on the first team All-American squad as a senior in high school, playing with Keith Booth, who now plays for Maryland at Dunbar. Was recruited by John Thompson at Georgetown. There's Dante Bright. Great players coming out of Baltimore.
Yeah, Dunbar's just put out some great players. Reggie Williams is now with the Denver Nuggets.
7:40 to go, 65-51 UMass.
A tradition on
7:40 remaining. 65-51. And so far, your tournament summary, the SEC 11-2, 2 teams remaining. And the amazing fact is that the SEC had only 1 team in the top 25 at the end of the regular season, and that was Kentucky. Rodney White on the follow, can't get it. Ahead, Travieso, and he is fouled.
You're not going to. Travieso and Padilla, I'm telling you, these kids are tough. They get the ball out to him, and then from there, it's just a fight. Tyrone Weeks comes up with it, and watch. Boubacar Al tries to get it. I mean, he takes it. He got hit. Boubacar Al said, "You all right?" And he just kind of shook his head. Yes, I'm all right.
Travieso at the line, shooting two.
Travieso and Padilla, they've got an interesting opportunity. They're going to try out to play on the Puerto Rican Olympic team, which would be something that, you know, obviously is right here in Atlanta, so they're both looking forward to that. And I would say they've got a very good chance of making that.
Padilla, Travieso, both born on May 9th, 1975 in Puerto Rico. They're roommates on the road, and when, as you pointed out, they've developed that great relationship off the court as best friends, and you can see how that translates on the floor. They are so much in sync with each other.
You know, I don't think there's any question about when you have good teams, you got to have a tremendous amount of respect and a love and a commitment to one another. As you see 5 seconds with good defense when Enos Norwood. You've got to care for one another and be very, very emotional about how you feel about one another. And when you do that, when a guy makes a move, you know what his emotions are, and so you get through that knowing what he's thinking.
7:05 left to play. Timeout, Hoyas.
And now follow me.
Texas Ranger. 7:04 to play. 67-51 UMass. Here's Marcus Camby keeping it up high. Finds Dingle cross court, and he calmly gets it back to Padilla. The Travieso open look.
You see how they get it to the point guard quickly? I mean, that is a very important point when you get a press, so you can get someone in control of it. Dingle got it right to Padilla, who got it to the open Travieso. Because that, you get it to your decision maker.
Carmelo Travieso with 17 points. UMass ahead 70-51. Here's Victor Page, but very quiet. Has it knocked away. Padilla ahead to his roommate. Travieso. Nice look to Dingle.
The fellas were looking for that one. They were standing up on the bench right now looking to get that play.
Georgetown.
I mean, to just get there. Nice hand across the top. Travieso gets it. Padilla sees him. Knowing he's in trouble, Travieso looks for a man. It's Dingle that bails him out and almost gets the three-point play. Defense again. It's what wins championships. It is the thing that takes the most commitment from a team in terms of the commitment to one another. You have to protect one another, and that's one of the things UMass has done repeatedly. John Calipari gets credit for doing that, getting his team to that position.
(71-51) UMass with their biggest lead of the game, 20 points. 6-11 standing in the way of a trip to New Jersey. And here's Padilla with the quick hands. How many times have we called his name? He's got 4 steals this evening. Travieso, quick release.
Oh, he was feeling real good about that shot.
Here's Dante Bright getting it to Padilla. Minutemen making all the right plays against the Hoyas. UMass came into this game winning their last 6 contests against Big East opponents. Here's Dante Bright inside. Short, ahead to Iverson.
But Gus, they put a schedule together that has made this team tough enough to do this. I mean, they played Temple, Georgia Tech, Syracuse, Maryland, Louisville. They had to play in their conference, George Washington, St. Joe, who's in the Final Four of the NIT. John Calipari put the schedule together. You can see what he has done against the top 25 schools in the country. Kentucky, they have played a good schedule, and because of it, his team is seasoned at making plays in tough situations.
Allen Iverson at the line, shooting 1 and 1.
So Allen Iverson stepping to the free throw line, 1 and 1. Iverson, a sophomore. 2 more years to play here at Georgetown. 21 points. They get 22. Here's Here's Dingle. Padilla sliding through, finds Dante Bright leaning in, and that's goaltending.
Padilla makes the play. You saw him. He jumped in the air, which you teach your players not to do. Was going to go to baseline with it, and then the defender jumped over, so he threw it right in the center where it needed to go. You know I love good guard play. I mean, there's nothing like it. We've said many times over, guards are essential to successful tournament teams, and that's why UMass is in this position. Their guards are very good.
But you also look at UMass, and when you talk about them breaking the pressure, not only their guards, Travieso and Padilla, but you look, Dante Bright can bring the ball up the floor. Dana Dingle can also bring the ball up the floor. And it's worked. UMass with the 20-point lead. They refuse to lose. That's the case right now. UMass on top of Georgetown, 73-53. And Marcus Canby and company picking up a whole lot of honors. Player of the Year, Coach of the Year. 2 players on the first team, Dante Bright and Marcus Canby.
That team has put some players on all kind of honors lists, Marcus Canby being one of them. They've won their conference tournament and title, well, the conference title 5 years in a row. The team that wins the most times in a row for any conference is UCLA, 13 times. But that's a pretty good deal if you look at a team that's just since 1992 got their first NCAA bid for almost 30 years, to say that they've come a long way in this program, and John Calipari has built it from where people didn't know who UMass was to now it's one of the most recognized names in college basketball.
Coach Calipari, a former assistant for Larry Brown at Kansas. Now in his 8th year here at UMass. Canby changing his shot inside, rebounded by Damon Jackson. Here's Jackson straight to the cup. It's knocked out of bounds. Will stay on this end.
You notice how many times somebody's going to the basket and there's some hands on the basketball? So I've always thought that was a good trait to have, with guys that will get out and be able to get in position. If you move your feet and you just get your hands around the ball, a lot of times you can get your hands on it. If the officials are calling those fouls across the top of the hands, then you just back off of it.
Now, is that something that's taught?
No, I think it's taught. I think they've been taught that. I think it's part of Travieso, but particularly Padilla, it's part of his makeup. I've yet to see him go around the ball where he doesn't try to get his hands on it.
Damon Jackson at the line, shooting 1 and 1. 73-53, under 5 minutes to play in the East Regional Final. Georgetown and UMass. Now out west tomorrow, big matchup between the 2nd-seeded Jayhawks and 3rd-seeded and Syracuse. Kansas beating Arizona last night.
That game will be interesting. Jock Vaughn is going to have to be able to create the tempo, get it up a little bit, if you will, for Kansas, because of the number of players they have. You got to find a way to get them involved, and you see the quick, smart timeout by Dante Bright. 20-second timeout. All of a sudden, just to try to regroup momentarily, Dante Bright. See, those are the kind of plays we're talking about, bright plays.
So looking down the road a bit, with 4:19 remaining and up 73-55, UMass looks to be on their way to the Final Four. And tomorrow in the Southeast, Mississippi State and Cincinnati. Mississippi State, the kind of team that you never know who's going to show up, but recently against Princeton and UConn, they played some great basketball.
Well, I think the first game we saw against VCU, that they were still having some residual effects from having beaten Kentucky. I think since then, they against Princeton, they settled down, and all of a sudden starting to be more patient and getting the ball to Eric Dampier. And Eric Dampier was too much for Connecticut to handle, so that's what's got to happen again.
Here's Canby, turnaround jumper on the baseline. Rebounded by Harrington, and a steal. Padilla leaves it. Dante Bright. Damon Jackson hauls it down.
the steal came because Dante Bright got his hand on the ball.
Here's 2-0 move, 3:40 on the clock. Allen Iverson.
He's got to go to work now because he can create some shots for himself. He's going to have to.
Padilla getting his hand on it again. I tell you what, Edgar Padilla. Now tonight on CBS after basketball, it's Dave's World, followed by Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman and Walker, Texas Ranger.
That's his third.
Touched by an angel, preempted because of the length of this ball game.
Edgar Padilla at the line shooting 2.
73-55, Edgar Padilla back at the free throw line. 3:31 to go, and as I was mentioning, Quinn, looking down the road a bit, Final Four, UMass and Kentucky. They'll square off once again. How do you see that?
Well, they'll square off once again. Rick Pitino and John Calipari have their history. John Calipari has his job because Rick was a part of the negotiation, helping to get John Calipari to take that job. What I see is that there's going to be a lot of pressure on Kentucky to get these guards to turn the ball over. That's Kentucky's strength. They have a lot of people. They force you to turn it over. They took Wake Forest out of the game, or they took
22 for Canby.
Kentucky took Tim Duncan out of the game because they can press you so much. Now, I suspect that's the same kind of thing they're going to try to do with Marcus Camby. Take him out of the game by making it 94 feet, and that's what the challenge for UMass.
On November 28th, UMass beat Kentucky 92-82, their first game of the season for UMass. They will meet in New Jersey, and Marcus Camby playing above the rim here.
Well, they find him, just a little eye contact. He gets near the hoop, and they find him, and then he gets a little bit of a reaction. And in that game you were talking about where UMass beat Kentucky, Marcus Camby had 32 points and 9 boards. So I'm sure Kentucky, as well as UMass, is looking forward to that rematch.
Dante Bright, 16 points, 7 rebounds for him. And he is the most consistent player on the squad. You know that Dante is going to get his points and contribute on the glass. Averages 14 on the season.
Kentucky has made a change since then, though. They had Tony Delk playing point guard. They'll play Mercer there sometimes. They'll, get Anthony Epps. They'll make changes. They've made changes in that position. That was the one thing that Rick Pitino was not happy with his team there, was what he was getting out of the point guard position. But Tony Delk back to his natural 2-guard position. And I think it's really helped Kentucky.
There's Padilla. Took it off inside, off the glass. He can't get it to go. And a whistle and foul. Let's go back to November 28th and the first game of the season for UMass. Marcus Camby just all over the basketball court.
Yeah, he's always going to be active, able to get out there to finish the steal. But that's the kind of thing that you obviously see puts a good smile on John Calipari's face, but he'll get a chance with that different dude.
He looked younger in that picture for some reason.
Hey, a season like this with what he's been through will make you age some.
Kentucky leads the series 3-1. UMass, they're revving up the bus for New Jersey.
Suppose
UMass with a big lead now. When Marcus Camby stayed in the UMass Medical Center after passing out before the game with St. Bonaventure, he developed a very special friendship with a young man named Anthony Tambalillo. 2 weeks ago, young Anthony passed after a tough fight with lupus, and according to Anthony's uncle Robert, Marcus brought a lot of joy to Anthony's final days, just being there for the young man and spending time with him. And for Marcus, his friendship with Anthony has had a profound effect on his life. According to Marcus, win or lose, his season is already a success because of the relationship he's developed with Anthony. Anthony's death has really had an effect on Marcus, and it's helped him put his basketball career and life as well in perspective.
Well, it's good to see that Marcus Camby had taken out some time, but it says something about the depth of the young man for him to take the time to try to be, give some consolation to a young man that needed it.
Basket by Jerome Williams.
Here's Padilla, 1:40 remaining.
See, look how hard he is to trap Padilla. I mean, and Georgetown is one of the best trapping teams in basketball, but they have a tough time ever being able to get Padilla into the trap position. And they're just going to, run the clock down as much as you can. And when you got sharp guards, you can do that.
Stolen by Jackson, and he comes down. Looks like he may have twisted his left ankle. Travieso recovers the ball and knocks down the jump shot. And Damon Jackson is in a lot of pain right now. Freshman from T.C. Williams High School.
Well, he jumps up to go to get the ball, and I think as he jumped up, Marcus Camby may have come in position, and just in trying to get the ball, you see Marcus Camby actually didn't move his foot at all, and you just see he stepped on it, and that left his foot. He just goes down. You can see it. He lost all of the support in it. And for a guy who was down, he has gotten back up and is running off the court. But that, you know what that grimace is? That's a young man, and you see it a lot. If you haven't been hurt before, that initial shock of going down with something like that
scares you.
It scares you, and that's what happened to him. It scared him as Marcus Camby goes out.
So Marcus Camby, 22 points, leaves the ball game. First team All-American. And the UMass Minutemen are all set to take on the Wildcats from Kentucky. 1:06 stands between them and a trip to the Final Four. And so far, this is how they match up in the Final Four: UMass and Kentucky, and the winner of Mississippi State and Cincinnati, and the winner of Syracuse and Kansas.
There's nothing like that feeling. That's the first time you get the rush of going to the Final Four. You get the big dance. You get to show everybody your wares, your little steps. This is a big moment for these young men, because for most of them, this will be the biggest athletic feat that they've ever had in their life, just to participate in it. I can assure you that UMass, like all of the other four teams right now, Kentucky and UMass, have nothing but winning that in their mind. But this is one of those feelings, gives you chills, brings back memories, good memories.
1976, Quinn Buckner and the Indiana Hoosiers going on to beat Michigan. And Allen Iverson takes a seat at 17 points in the first half and only 4 in the second half. 1 of 10 from the field in the second half of play. 1 minute to play. And that's the other Padilla. When
Edgar Padilla came to school, Goodell really translated for him, because Edgar couldn't speak English. So there was some advantage of having it. Now he's got a basket in an Elite 8 game. So you know the fellas can go back and talk about that. .1
remaining, 84-62. Allen Iverson sitting and thinking about the future, along with Victor Page, who's also in his first year. Plenty of time for both of those young men.
And a good learning lesson of when you put a team together. I think there are a lot of things that they learn. I think Iverson learned that when you've got people coming at you with that kind of strength, that he needs to work on his strength, because he has the skill.
On the break.
The bench is standing up.
Substitutes in the ball game right now for both teams. Ball kept alive and finally recovered there by Ted Cottrell. 18 seconds remaining. And the UMass Minutemen will improve to 35-1 on the season.
And their first Final Four.
First Final Four in the history of the program.
Now that's got to make one man proud. Julius Erving.
And that's it. They are are celebrating in Amherst because UMass has gone on to beat Georgetown in the East 86-62. The Chevrolet players of the game are from Georgetown, Allen Iverson, 23 points, and from UMass, those great guards, Edgar Padilla and Carmelo Travieso, totals 28 points and 10 assists. Coming up, we'll head back to New York, where Pat O'Brien is standing by. For Andrea Joyce, Quinn Buckner, I'm Gus Johnson. So long from Atlanta.
Angel. Next up, it's Dave's World on CBS, Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, and Walker, Texas Ranger. Tomorrow on CBS, please join us on the CBS Sports Show at, well, 12 noon Eastern Time for Alpine World Cup skiing. Alberto Tomba will be along to ski for us, and we hope you'll join us for that. At 1:30, it's the Boost Naismith Award Show as the top players and coaches in men's and women's college basketball will be honored. Follow at 2 o'clock. By the Road to the Final Four show as we get you ready for all the latest tournament news and talk about the games with Mike Krzyzewski and George Raveling. Then the games at 2:40, Syracuse and Kansas, a 4-2 game out west. And then in the southeast, the big guys, Mississippi State and Cincinnati, and what a battle that'll be. And then on Monday, April 1st, no fooling, Road to Glory, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. And then we'll have the national championship game on Monday night here on CBS. Well, that's March 21st, by the way. I'm already looking ahead to the championship game. That's the 25th. All right, Georgetown and UMass today, the final 86-62. And let's go back out to Atlanta and Gus and Quinn.
And thank you very much, Pat. Right now, John Calipari and the winners in the East, the Minutemen from UMass. Good feeling for you.
Kids played so hard. You know, I think you talk about defense today. They knew that's what it would take, and great rebounding, and we had foul trouble, but guys responded. I'm just proud. I'm just happy to be the coach of this team, and they're special. They're special and unique, I can tell you that.
I got to come here. Tell me something. You had the chore, Carmelo Travieso, you had the chore of guarding Allen Iverson. What did you try to make him do? I have not seen defense like that in a very long time.
Just make it real hard for him. I take a lot of pride in my defense. We all do. We helped each other out. It wasn't just me. The whole team came in and helped me out, and I just made the game real hard for him.
All right, well, let's go over here and see what the big fella has to say. Gus, you got Marcus.
Well, Marcus, last year you guys came up a little short against Oklahoma State, didn't advance to the Final Four, but just looking at the way you guys came out in this particular ball game, you could tell that you were determined to get to New Jersey.
Oh, yeah, that was our goal all year. Last year our goal was to get to the Final Four. This year that's our goal to win it all. You know, guys played great today. Carmelo locked up Iverson in the second half, and it was a team win.
Come here. I need to talk to Edgar. Tell me, how do you two get on it together? I mean, you guys are on the same page. Talk to me real quick.
We're just trying to help each other on defense and offense. And Carmelo did a great job of pushing the ball, and I was just trying to help him and the other guys. And
you got Kentucky. You ready for that show?
Yeah, we beat him once, and we're looking forward to beating him again.
All right, thank you very much.
Well, here are the winners. They're fired up, and they're headed to New Jersey to take on Kentucky. Let's go back to Pat O'Brien, who's standing by in New York City.
All right, Gus, Quinn, congratulations to them. 2 #1 seeds playing.
It doesn't happen that often, and I was so impressed with UMass's team defense, Pat. They have great team hands. They get their hands on everything, and they help each other out magnificently.
George, really a clinic by both Kentucky and UMass today.
No question about it, but Pat, in my mind, UMass has clearly established themselves as the team to beat in this tournament. In the field of 64, I don't believe any team has exhibited the poise that the Minutemen have exhibited.
All right, so 2 #1 seeds will play, and one of the brackets of the Final Four will be back here in a moment. Stay with us.